Hey guys, thanks for coming back. Tonight, this is actually the second video. The first video sort of broke down COVID-19 Whitehouse update thingy they do every single day, which is a really long video. It's really long and tedious, you know, so I thought someone ought to break it down and kind of pick out the juicy stuff. So if you like my perspective, you might want to come here every day, because I think I'm just going to start doing that every day. This is kind of a follow-up thing, though, because, you know, I always like to shout out to other YouTubers that really open my eyes to so many things, you know. That's a whole video in of itself. Today we're going to look at, not Mike Pence, you handsome man. We want to look at Miss Dana Ashlie right now. So, a good Christian girl, and really does some amazing work. She finds stuff and puts it out there. Boy, they shadow ban her and they attack her left and right. I love her. She's amazing. Anyway, this is an amazing time to be alive. This is a good example of the power of the media. You think you know what's going on? Watch this. This video is at least a week old, I think. You're not going to believe this.
In an earnest attempt to sort fact from fiction, citizen reporters are popping up and hitting the streets to verify whether or not what we're hearing about these hospitals is true.
Approximately how many coronavirus patients have you seen? How many? You don't know? 2? 100? 3. You've seen 3.
So again, there are no lines of people.
That's what they expected to see.
There is no mass chaos out here.
That's what the news said.
Mainstream media is telling you.
Yeah.
How do you know they had corona?
They went down to see it. It wasn't there.
In the ambulance? You don't know. You assume. Symptoms?
Can you blame Americans for wanting to verify the truth when networks
Flu-like
like CBS
symptoms?
are doing things like this?
Cases are being found right here. Crowded subway cars may have accelerated the spread. New York's governor says FEMA gave the state 400.
They're not even showing sick people. Oh, here we go. Sick people, right?
With 400 ventilators when I need 30,000.
Wait do you see this crap?
From CBS, the slant, you know, is the great need for the equipment. We don't have enough equipment. So the crowded ER shot demonstrates we have an epicenter of this disease in New York, and we don't have enough. We need 30,000 ventilators. But the only problem is this footage has already run on Sky News on March 22nd. Talking about Italy. Yeah.
Where are we now,
This is the
folks?
main hospital in Bergamo.
Come on,
in Lombardy
guys.
province. It's one of the most advanced.
What are we looking at here?
But it's the
They're not even speaking English in there.
Once again this morning, the city's hospitals will be on the front lines in this war against the coronavirus. In Elmhurst, Queens, that hospital there,
Listen to how serious he sounds.
Already this morning for about the last 45 minutes.
Nice
Confirmed
tie.
Cases, people waiting
Not
to
a
get
wrinkle in that
tested.
jacket.
Supplies are in demand there.
He just put it on.
Hordes of people inside. That's why I didn't go in. Let's see. The doctor with his mask on and everything.
The epicenter. I'm sick of that word. Here it is.
Look at that.
No waiting.
Nobody. Completely empty. This is police.
What are we talking about now, guys?
Nothing.
We are truly in an info war. This is nuts.
Nothing. Absolutely. Ghosts. That's all they got you afraid of, ghosts.
With the growing number of patients as supplies dwindle, you can see barricades behind us set up here outside of the hospital to keep order here because so many have been lining up every day to get tested.
That's probably the whole film crew, caterers and shit.
Get tested. I don't see that.
You can hear a pin drop.
I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what it looks like here in New York City. The mayor, the governor says our hospitals
Are they stupid? Everybody's
war
running around with a
Well, I want to
phone.
give you an idea of what that war zone looks like.
They truly
here in
control the
downtown
information.
Brooklyn. So this is my neighborhood. This is the Brooklyn Hospital.
At some point,
Center.
the citizens must have said, "I don't see
And,
that. I live right there."
You're hearing one thing on the mainstream media,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what it's like in reality.
Boom. Someone who's in New York. There you go. Don't listen to me.
This is where people.
That's the great
normally
thing
stand
about
up
the
to
internet.
get
These are boots on the ground.
for the coronavirus. But as you can see, not much happening.
Yeah.
And this is a hospital that serves thousands and thousands of people here in downtown Brooklyn, New York. There are no lines of people. There is no mass chaos out here, contrary to what the mainstream media is telling you.
Here's those tents they had set up. This is what you saw on the news.
At Elmhurst Hospital, lines of people outside wait to get tested. A refrigerated truck has now been brought in here, a makeshift morgue.
Here's the
some people in
refrigerated
A
truck for
line.
the dead people, but no action.
Ambulances have seen a surge in calls, responding to nearly 5,800 Thursday.
All parked ambulances. No patients.
Maybe they had to pee.
Nobody's rushing anywhere.
Take a break.
In fact, we got a couple of ambulances here waiting to be called into action. Here's some busy, crazy busy guys. Yep, they're on their cell phone, watching Netflix.
There is a lot of ambulances
this,
right there.
unfortunately, is just the beginning, with the crisis expected to last 4 months and the peak of it all still on the horizon. We are live in Elmhurst, Queens this morning. Rena Roy, CBS 2 News.
Rena, thank you.
Fear is mandatory, guys. Fear is mandatory right now.
That's all they got you afraid of ghosts. What? Oh, no problem.
Phyllis and
don't-
William
you can't film here.
Pavilion here on 7th Avenue. There's one
See?
guy in the waiting room.
You can't get away from the truth. It'll
Not too
catch
crazy.
up to him.
And
Yeah.
as you see, there's an emergency sign, open 24/7, and new people.
They control the disease by controlling the information.
You can't protect the public by lying to them.
It's done every day.
Walk-in healthcare
I missed
clinics
the
around the state
X-Files
say
so
they've been
bad.
overwhelmed by the demand for coronavirus testing, causing frustration.
We were overwhelmed yesterday with the response to people wanting testing.
Urgent Care Hawaii says its drive-up service was deluged by requests for coronavirus tests, some waiting as long as 4 hours.
Here's my question, guys. What's the game here? You're smart people. Why are they whipping us into a panic?
So they drive down there.
Why are they lying about
What
massive
the
lines
hell?
of people at testing centers?
Okay, maybe he just... Oh, it is the one in
Night
Hawaii.
after night
What
being
the hell,
told there are
guys?
these long lines of people being managed at the urgent care, that they're being overwhelmed.
Some waiting as long as 4 hours.
Actually, the president or CEO of urgent care, while I was in front of the place, was telling me, we're doing the best we can, managing these massive lines. I'm like, I'm here, lady. And there's no lines.
As you can
Is
see,
that weird?
the ER, the hospital, is not overwhelmed. Where all these sick people at for this quarantine? Hospital number 2. The first one.
Here's
was
what happens
quarantined.
too when you give America too much time. They sit around their house and they start coming up with conspiracies and crazy ideas, and then someone goes out there and oh shit, it actually is true.
Sitting at the desk. The quarantine
places are
tent where they take
empty.
the test was empty.
People look at the testing
You should see the
centres.
footage of.
This is what they're telling you testing is going on in. Where's the testing?
Oh, when do you see Dubai? Oh my God.
Abandoned people.
There's no activity.
Going on.
Look at that.
Where's the testing?
There's nothing in there.
Where is it? The show that's getting put on for you. Leo and Coveney and Simon will be down there for the photo up soon and have loads
That
of
is
people with masks
creepy.
letting out
There's
people
no
coming in to get
nothing
tested.
in there.
Look,
No people, nothing. Couple tables.
right down to the end, look. There is no
You can't stop
going
people.
on in these tents.
You can't stop them.
The quarantine tent where they take the test was empty. We're going to see what this one's like. Let's go. As you can see, waiting area is empty.
Guys, is this all? How far does this go?
It might be another hospital. Nobody's in there. Nurses are just taking a easy day.
We were overwhelmed yesterday with the response.
I just want to know why urgent care doesn't want me to document. They're lying on the news about being overwhelmed with lines and testing all these people. They're taking state money and they're not testing anyone.
What are they going to do with citizens and cameras? Oh boy.
So are these the overwhelming lines that you guys have been lying to the people of Hawaii about? I'm a journalist and this is going to be a column and it's going to be read nationally. That's great. About how you're lying that there are massive lines that you're doing.
We were overwhelmed yesterday with the response.
You tested 25 people here yesterday? You said that. You didn't test 25 people.
Maybe that overwhelmed them.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I have nobody.
You know, people are getting out of control here. You know, I think they're both a little angry and tempers are flaring now.
So it seems like people all over the world are sick of lies in the media. So sick of it that they've decided to do something about it. They're on the scene doing the work that the now so-called approved news outlets
Dana's right.
be doing.
They should be doing this.
I myself went to go pick up some food at a local restaurant to help those guys afloat during this unprecedented attack on our small businesses. And the CFO of our local hospital happened to be there as well. And she said that the hospitals were not only completely dead, but that they were, quote, burning through cash like mad.
Oh my God.
So part of the reason that the hospitals are empty is because
this is an attack on our economy.
Surgeries and things like that. They say, of course, to keep the huge influx of virus folks separated from the public. But
something's going on, folks.
Yep.
It ain't a virus.
Nope.
As you can see from this footage taken by one of my subscribers, by the way, who's an attorney, all over California and the greater LA area, which is meant to be more hard hit, right? First to be put on the lockdown. There's no long lines of people dealing with virus present. The parking lots are
This is just too many locations.
And I'd like to applaud
that are
all
empty.
these folks with the ability to question.
You know what?
We're
They
being
told everyone to
Have
stay
enough
home,
desire
and
for truth
they
to
did.
Get out and verify it.
Everyone said stay home? Okay.
Themselves.
Great. You're going to pay me?
Know
Sure.
anything about where the testing is
Sure,
being
why not?
done? I haven't found a single place that'll test anybody. Do you know?
CDC.gov.
And then when you go there, they say no.
While my inbox is a nightmare
Oh,
right
boy.
now, so I want to ask, please don't send me.
Watch
more
my
videos
channel.
of
I went
this
to
kind of thing
CDC.gov
with
and they
hospitals unless you can
There's
also
creepy stuff in their
provide
own
a
website.
link to a contradictory news report of the same location that is covering an event that you can disprove with your own on-the-scene footage. Now that I would like to get, but just random video footage of hospitals, I'm afraid that would overwhelm me a little bit.
Okay, I probably
this guy here
just
from Germany
Oh yeah,
had the
here's this guy.
cojones.
Yeah, he goes all through
He
the
walked
hospital.
through the whole hospital to show the world. It is
Nice guy. Look at him, man.
empty. And he did comment that the hospital workers were also very dubious about this whole theory as well.
Das ist alles übertrieben und so. Das, was in den Medien berichtet wird, das können Sie nicht nachvollziehen. Dass sich das nicht deckt mit dem, was hier tagtäglich passiert.
Oh, and I thought this was really interesting. For those who don't already realize that there is a CORONA, California, and there is a Corona Regional Medical Center within it.
Ew, I
And
didn't even
there
notice
are
that.
Over a dozen
Ew,
hospitals. This
that
guy
is
ran around telling
creepy,
each other.
guys.
This one too had zero evidence of lines of people getting tested.
Guys, start
or
commenting
anything
on this
chaos,
stuff
but what
below.
it did
I don't
have
even know what to make
were
of this.
big signs out front surrounded by orange that said hospital disaster drill in progress. Drill, huh?
This is Alex Jones type stuff now.
Thanks for watching, you guys. I love you, and we'll see you really, really soon.
All right, seriously, Dana, great job. You're going to be big someday. Anyway, now, this is hilarious. I kind of only watched the beginning, but I wanted to watch it with you guys and react to it. I just had Bill Maher on talking about how stupid it was to bring the race card into this thing. Anyway, it was great. I miss the old Bill Maher when he was politically incorrect in the 80s. He actually had a show on HBO called Politically Incorrect. Go looking for that. He used to be cool. Anyway, having said that, let's just watch him be a jerk again.
My next guest is a Republican congressman from Texas and author of the new book, Fortitude, American Resilience in the Era of...
Yeah, there's a real man right there.
Crenshaw. Congressman,
I had lost an eye for his country. Give me a
break. I must
break.
tell you, I first became aware of you, as I think many Americans did, when Pete Davidson of Saturday Night Live made that joke about you. And I have to tell
No,
you,
I watch him on Fox all the time, dipshit.
What you said, because you never hear that in American life. You said, look, it was wrong, but let's just forgive each other. I know you've done much better things for this country. 5 tours you did overseas. But thank you for your service in calling out victim culture.
Well, no, I appreciate that, Bill. And first of all, thanks for having me. I know we had planned to do this in the studio in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, life took a different turn. You know, the phrase I used after Pete Davidson said that, which I think you would love this phrase, is try hard not to be offended, or try hard not to offend, but try even harder not to offend or be offended. Geez, I'm really screwing this up. Try hard not to offend, try even harder not to be offended. And I think that'd be a way to live for all of us.
No, and we both share this disdain for victim culture and for lots of stuff, trophy syndrome. I hope I have some credibility with you because, you know, I did a show called Politically Incorrect, which started in 1993 when I think you were about 10. And I was
wow, that was the 90s.
A long
the
time
early
ago,
90s. I thought it was the late
it
80s.
hasn't gotten any better.
I think you do have some credibility for sure in conservative circles. I don't know how often you test or do focus groups amongst conservatives, but we generally think of you as a real liberal. And and that means something. There's a difference between liberalism and leftism, and we can disagree wholeheartedly on the best way to govern our country or the best way to perceive a problem and the framework with which to approach problem solving. But open-mindedness and the ability to debate should be a key tenet of liberalism, and at least in the classical sense. And so, no, we do appreciate it.
Okay, so let's debate a little bit. I mean, you say in your book, I'm going to quote you call out automatic assignment of blame outward. That's what we were just talking about. Help me understand how someone who calls out the outward assignment of blame can be such a supporter of a president who does nothing but pass the buck, lie, finger point, shirk responsibility. Tell me how you can support someone with your
We can say that about the entire Democratic Party. But you know, I can be specific. You can't.
I would say I support the country, right? And the president's success is certainly tied to the success of the country. I support his policy agenda. When I disagree with his policy agenda, I openly disagree with it. This isn't, you know, Republicans always get asked this question, and there's this demand that we always have to answer. What do you feel about him? Well, don't you want to comment on his latest tweet and his latest out and the way he lashed out?
Seriously.
And no, I don't.
Well said, Dan.
I can't defend everything. I can't. He doesn't have the same style as I do. I don't consider him my spiritual guide by any means, but
sure is winning for America, though, ain't he?
A quick story. When I was blown up, sitting in my hospital bed, President Obama was doing the rounds at Walter Reed, just like President Trump does now, and just like President Bush did before him. It's a really neat thing. It's a really interesting connection that the president gets with these wounded active duty soldiers that is never publicized. And even though I may have disagreed with so many levels with President Obama, I made sure to get up, and I was excited. I was genuinely happy, and to shake that man's hand and have him sign the American flag on my wall. And, you know, even though we disagree on political things, and
I voted for Obama.
I would like us to get to that point with the president as well.
Okay, but you do what a lot of Republicans do. You talk about his tweets and his style. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the person who is the leader of the country at a time of crisis. And we have to go through what he actually has done. This is important.
My friends are talking like this.
It's about our economy and everything that's really important. It's not tweets and it's not style. Let's just go through the timeline.
Like what? Yeah.
Because he was warned.
Yeah. What?
This did not have to
No,
happen.
he was not warned.
Alex Azar.
He was the first to react.
His health and
he was
Human
scorned.
Guy. January 18th, he warned him about this.
Talk about a lie.
January 30th, Trump said he was being an alarmist. Peter Navarro, somebody else who talks to Trump a lot, told him directly January 29th, you got to get ahead of this.
He
February
did.
2 days later, he implemented a restrictive
There you
travel
go.
ban from China, which he was widely
2
criticized
days
for.
later.
That same day, on January 31st, Nancy Pelosi proposed the No Ban Act, which would be congressional limitation on what
The
President Trump's
opposite.
actually able to do.
The opposite of what you're talking about, dipshit.
Okay, but I mean, he lies about that. First of all, he
No.
He lied about it. What do you mean?
He said he stopped people coming in from China. He did not. He said he was
That's
ahead.
exactly what he did.
43 countries did it before we did. There are still people coming in from
Americans,
China.
dumbass.
Yeah, okay. Let me address that, because I know that's what people are saying right now. But the reality is, it was about 40,000 people came in after that. These are U.S. citizens and green card holders. And
Yeah, what are we going to do? Leave them there to die,
U.S.
dipshit?
citizens. So you have to make the argument then that we shouldn't allow them in. And I mean, it sounds to me like you're fully agreeing with President Trump on this when everybody else disagreed with them. And,
No,
and if you're saying that you wish that travel restriction had been more extreme, okay, fine. I mean, you apparently had the foresight back then, but when nobody else did. But the fact is, you know, if Joe Biden was in charge at that moment, he's already said he wouldn't have done it. He criticized it at the time. Nancy Pelosi actually proposed legislation to stop it.
Okay, but people are still coming in from China. It wasn't just foreign nationals, but let's get off that. Let me just go back to the timeline for a minute.
Yeah, jump away, Bill.
February 10th,
War cry of the loser.
He says it's going to go away in April with the heat because he had a hunch. February 25th, he goes to India.
I just read a Yahoo
This is 4
article
days
that
after
said
the
it's not
Whitehouse
only
coronavirus task
susceptible
force
to heat,
said we're
also
going to have to
humidity
lock down
and
the
sunlight.
country. And
He was
Dr.
right
Nancy
again.
Messonnier, who's in charge of the Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases. Wait a second, let me just finish.
Yeah,
She
too
announced
much,
this
Bill.
on the 26th.
Take it a step at
on
a
the
time.
25th,
You're just
that we're gonna have to
bombarding
lock
the
down
poor guy.
country. He said the next day, 15 people have it, and it's soon going to be close to zero. March 6th, he said anyone who wants a test can get it, which is still completely
Okay, let me stick to February.
completely
as you
wrong.
go forward.
Shut up, Bill.
February 25th, the day before, February 24th, that's when the administration requested $2.5 billion from Congress to fulfill, CDC, NIH, and FDA funding to combat the virus and the potential spread of it. What happened right then? I'll tell you, because I was in Congress and I know what happened.
Oh, they clogged it up and blocked it with a bunch of BS Green New Deal bullshit.
Voted on later that week. Nancy Pelosi, the only thing she would put on the floor to vote on was a bill to ban flavored tobacco. That's what actually happened. It was only a week later that we actually voted on supplemental
I didn't even
funding
know that.
the administration requested. Your criticism appears to be based in one thing, that Trump was overly optimistic. That's his style. Again, you can criticize it. That's fine. But it's not connected to the actions that we're actually taking. Because if I back up even further, February 14th, CDC announces ongoing work with 5 laboratories to perform community-based influenza surveillance and study the spread of the virus. We're in a fact-finding mode in February. People forget this. People keep calling February this lost month. But it's really not. That's an easy and cheap accusation because there's no big, bold moves taken like there was in January or like there was in March. But the reality is our government was working to create that test. Now, did they work as fast as we would have liked? No, of course not. And there's a lot of reasons for that, which I'm happy to go into. By March 3rd, there was only 102 cases in the United States. And yet I'm hearing criticism that we should have been locked down weeks earlier. But do you think the American
For 100
people would have
people.
accepted that? With
No.
only 100 cases in the United
That's
States.
when I was buying up
Italy
all those
didn't lock down
masks.
until March 10th. Spain
Because I was
until
listening to
March
Donald
14th.
Trump say, hey, there's a
Not until
problem.
later
So
in
I was buying
places
masks.
like
I have these
Sweden
great,
never
cool
locked
masks. I'm going to show you in my next
And so
video.
I
Nobody
can
has one.
provide
They're all,
all of
oh,
that
where'd you get that? I'm like,
context as we try to
I got 7
accuse
off
this
the
man
internet.
of
Plenty of time. Why? I listen to
being
Trump
accused of having
and
blood
his
on his
people
hands. And
and the
context is so important
vloggers.
here.
Well, it is. And also, it's not just about being
That's a good
optimistic, it's
subject
about
for a
being
video.
right. The world was aware of this. And since when does America take its lead from Italy and Spain?
Well, because those were where the outbreaks were happening.
Seriously, Bill.
Well, I'm
You're
trying to get
acting
out
like a
and
damn
for
fool,
time.
Bill.
But
Are you getting
if
old?
we're going to criticize somebody's actions, we have to do
I
it in
can't
the
watch this
context of the
anymore.
facts
I can't
that
watch
do
this
at the
anymore.
time.
Okay, just so that's Crenshaw versus Marr. Oh boy. So I want to talk about one more thing: the protests that are going on. So I don't even know what this is. It has something to do with a protest, though.
Today, Jay Inslee said that your tweets encouraging
Who said
liberation. Jay Inslee said your tweets encouraging liberation in Michigan, Minnesota, Virginia were fomenting rebellion.
Oh, here they're punching on him, punching on Donald.
Squares with the sober and methodical guidance that you issued yesterday.
Well, I think we do have a sobering guidance, but I think some things are too tough. And if you look at some of the states you just mentioned, it's too tough, not only relative to this, but what they've done in Virginia with respect to the Second Amendment is just
See how he turns
thing.
it?
They did a horrible thing, the governor.
See, why do they bother with their stupid questions? Because he'll just turn it back, the talking point, right back on him.
You see what other states have done. No, I think I feel very comfortable. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to be clear, when you talk about these states, Michigan, Minnesota, Virginia, do you think that they should lift their stay-at-home orders, or can you talk?
No, but I think elements of what they've done are too much. I mean, it's just too much. You know the elements because I've already said. But certainly a Second Amendment and Second Amendment having to do
There was a
with
guy in the
state of
ocean
Virginia, what they've done
by
in
himself,
Virginia is just incredible.
and they figured out a way to arrest him.
Sir,
Come
Are
on.
you concerned, though, that people coming out in protest...
These are the authorities we depend on? Give me a break,
COVID
guys.
to other people? They're congregating
You can't
in
go by
ways that
paint.
health experts have said they should not.
No, these are people expressing their views. I see where they are and I see the way they're working. They seem to be very responsible people to me. But it's, they've been treated a little bit rough.
Yeah, they have. All right, I guess we're going to end it right there, guys. Hey, thanks a lot. You know what? I wanted to show you one more thing, if you don't mind. We're trying to build up the channel, and we put a shirt together. It says, "We built the economy up once. We will do it again." And so if you go to... I can't put this on YouTube yet. They won't let me until I get more subscribers and views. So if you go to Teespring, it's under Daddy Brian's, that's B-R-I-N with apostrophe S, merch. And you'll see this and a couple other shirts. And I would appreciate the support. We need to take our country back, folks. So let's do that. Let's do it together, shall we? All right. Thanks a lot. See you next video. Thank you so much for your time. God bless.